Hey guys, buckle up because this one is pure suburban nightmare fuel. Picture this, a quiet little slice of American dream called Sunnyvale Estates, Texas. White picket fences, kids on bikes, Saturday BBQs that smell like freedom. But underneath it all, a fat, clipboard-wielding dictator named Karen McAllister, HOA president, ruling like she owns the Constitution itself. And one ordinary Tuesday afternoon, she shows up at Natalie Brooks' door with a fine so ridiculous it could bankrupt a small country. Can you believe it? This overweight Karen in her loud pink and gold power suit, the kind that screams, "I shop at the clearance rack but pretend I'm on Wall Street," is standing there sweating under the Texas sun, jowls quivering, pointing a manicured claw at Natalie's perfectly manicured rose garden. Violation notice number 47, Missy. Your flowers are 2 inches too tall, and the mulch color is non-compliant. Pay up, or we lien the house. Natalie, 29 now, and running her own thriving vintage furniture empire from a corner office that overlooks Austin's skyline, just stares. 10 years ago, she was the girl who cried herself to sleep on an air mattress. But today, she's the one who's about to make Karen regret every petty rule she ever invented. Let's rewind, because this story starts exactly where every HOA horror story does, with a dream home and a golden boy son who can't tie his own shoes. Back when Natalie was 19, fresh out of high school with straight A's and a full-ride scholarship to the University of Texas that her parents had been saving for since she was born, life looked golden. Modest two-story in Indiana, dad in logistics, mom in school HR, the kind of family that clips coupons but still hits Target on the weekends. Her older brother Derek, yeah, we're calling him Derek now because Lucas was too nice, was the golden child. Barely sees Xbox marathons, boys will be boys. Natalie? Invisible perfection. Science fairs, violin, track team, volunteering. The acceptance letter came on a rainy Tuesday. She cried happy tears on the porch steps. For 6 glorious weeks, she was the Harrison family pride. Then Derek decided he wanted to go to Brackenridge University, party school extraordinaire, $65,000 a year, perfect for rich kids who network their way into cocaine habits. Parents exchanged that look. Mom only cooks pot roast for funerals and family executions. That humid Thursday evening, the smell hit Natalie like a slap. Dad poured the good Cabernet. Derek grinned at his phone. And over perfectly seasoned beef, her parents dropped the bomb. We're redirecting your college fund to Derek's first year. You can take a gap year, work, apply to state school later. You're smart, you'll succeed anywhere. Natalie felt the room tilt. So Derek can party? Dad's face went purple. Families make sacrifices. Mom's tears started, the fake ones that always worked before. Derek just shrugged. I didn't ask for this. 1 week to decide, Yale-level future or family. She chose herself. Drove to Grandma Eloise's purple Victorian 40 minutes away. Grandma, 68 and 0 fucks given, handed her coffee and lemon bars. Your parents are idiots. I'll co-sign the loans. Natalie worked 2 jobs, took community college credits cheap, sold plasma, slept 4 hours a night. Grandma gave her the studio above the antique shop. She made it to UT in 3.5 years, graduated summa cum laude, landed the finance job in Chicago, then the MBA at Northwestern. By 26, she was director of finance at a hot Austin tech startup. Equity 6 figures, corner office. Grandma left her everything when she passed: house, business, investments, and the will reading was pure justice porn. Parents got $1 each. Natalie got millions and a chain of vintage stores. She moved back to Texas and bought her dream house in Sunnyvale Estates, the one with a rose garden she designed herself. Paid cash with her inheritance. HOA dues on time every month. Perfect compliance. Decided the neighborhood needed a new community rec center. And guess who the contractor was? Her lazy, 31-year-old son Derek, who still lived in her basement and had never held a job longer than 3 weeks. The special assessment, $500,000 total, and Karen's fair plan was to hit high-earning residents hardest. Natalie's share, $85,000, exactly the money she'd earmarked for expanding her 5th store. Community first, Karen cooed at the emergency HOA meeting, clipboard like a weapon, her fleshy arms jiggling in that hideous magenta blazer. Derek's company has the lowest bid. It's for the kids. The room of retired Karens nodded like bobbleheads. Natalie stood up. I'm not paying for your son's failing startup disguised as charity. Yes. Karen's smile went thin. Then we'll have to enforce every rule on your property starting tomorrow. That's where the war began, guys. Much worse. The next morning, Natalie woke to the sound of Karen's golf cart idling outside like a tank. 3 violation notices taped to her door: grass 0.2 inches too long, mailbox flag, non-standard, and get this, her American flag flown at an improper angle. Each fine $250. Daily until fixed. Her laugh while furious, laugh you guys know too well. She dealt with worse than suburban tyrants. She called the HOA office, was dripping with fake concern.
It seems we are very busy with more important matters.
Honey, rules are rules. It's for the greater good. Greater good meaning Derek's rec center slush fund, of course. Derek himself was across the street that same afternoon, revving an unlicensed dirt bike on the common green while Karen waved and smiled. No fine for him. Natalie started documenting. Phone videos, timestamp photos, copies of every email. She noticed the pattern fast. Karen's son got free passes on noise complaints, unpermitted deck additions, even a giant inflatable pool that drained the neighborhood water pressure. Meanwhile, single moms and retirees got hammered for faded welcome mats. Social satire at its finest. America. Petty power in the hands of the most unqualified people. She tried the nice route first. Business casual, calm, facts ready.
We are exceeding all expectations.
Karen, the bylaws say special assessments need 75% homeowner approval. You only have 40%. Karen leaned back in her reinforced chair, belly spilling over the armrest, and smirked. The emergency clause allows it. And if you keep fighting, we can place a lien. Foreclose if unpaid. The room murmured approval. One neighbor whispered, just pay it, dear. It's easier. Natalie felt that old familiar rage, the same rage from the pot roast dinner 10 years ago. But this time she didn't cry.
Challenge
She smiled.
accepted.
That night she sat in her rose garden under the stars, the same garden Karen now wanted ripped out for uniformity. She called her lawyer, the same one who'd handled grandma's will. Start building the case. Minutes, every favoritism. I want everything. The harassment escalated. Really just her 2 gossiping friends showed up unannounced twice a week. Fines piled to $12,000 in a month. Natalie's credit took a hit when the HOA reported the lien to the bureaus. Her business partners started asking awkward questions. But she kept paying her regular dues on time and fixing every ridiculous violation the same day, while secretly recording Karen's golf cart rants about people who think they're better than the rules. One afternoon, Derek showed up drunk at her door, reeking of cheap beer. Mom says if you just write the check, we can all be friends. I got this killer rec center design, laser tag and everything. Natalie closed the door in his face. Later, she found a new violation notice. Unauthorized emotional support plants. Yeah, her roses were now illegal. Guys, the dark humor here is next level. Karen would post on the neighborhood Facebook group about Christian values and neighborly love, while simultaneously trying to bankrupt the one resident actually living the American dream she claimed to defend. Hypocrisy, so thick you could spread it on toast. Natalie started sleeping with her Ring camera on 24/7. She hired a private investigator to dig into HOA bank statements. What he found: Karen had quietly funneled $180,000 of previous dues into administrative expenses that somehow paid for Derek's new truck and her own cruise to the Bahamas. The rec center bid? Derek's company was the only bidder because Karen had rejected 3 cheaper licensed contractors. She had the evidence. Because the sweetest revenge is allowed. It's surgical.
This belongs to me now.
Summer in Sunnyvale Estates turned into a pressure cooker. Karen's golf cart became the neighborhood Gestapo mobile. She'd cruise past Natalie's house 3 times a day, clipboard in lap, barking into her walkie-talkie like she was running a military op. Unit 7, the Brooks residence still has non-regulation mulch. Escalate fine to $500 daily. Natalie kept her cool in public. In private, she built the dossier thicker than Karen's thighs. Bank statements, emails, texts from Derek bragging about free money from the HOA. She even got drone footage of Derek throwing illegal parties while Karen stood on her porch waving like the proudest enabler alive. Then came the pot roast moment 2.0. The emergency HOA meeting in the community clubhouse smelled exactly like that Indiana dining room. Tension, entitlement, and cheap coffee. Karen stood at the podium in her signature magenta blazer, sweat stains already blooming under the arms, and announced, "Due to rising costs, the assessment has increased. Natalie Brooks, as our highest-earning resident, your new share is $120,000. Payable in 30 days, or we begin foreclosure proceedings." The room went silent. Steady. "You're stealing from me to bail out your son's failing business. I have proof." Karen laughed that wet, condescending laugh. "Proof? Sweetie, I am the proof. I'm the president." That night, Natalie's phone blew up with anonymous text. "Just pay it. Don't make waves." But she also got one from an old neighbor. "I've been waiting for someone to stand up to her for years." She filed a lawsuit quietly the next morning, class action style, on behalf of every resident who'd been overcharged. The complaint was brutal: embezzlement, nepotism, abuse of power, violation of Texas HOA statutes. She attached 400 pages of exhibits. The judge granted a temporary injunction freezing all new assessments. Karen's face when she got served? Priceless. She actually turned purple and screamed at the process server in the middle of the cul-de-sac while neighbors filmed on their phone. The harassment went nuclear, leading to vote Natalie out of the neighborhood, as if that was legal. She got denied. Loud truck in front of Natalie's house at 3 a.m., blasting country music. Natalie just turned on the sprinklers and kept filming. Meanwhile, her business exploded. The vintage stores hit 7 figures. She expanded the online side Grandma had started. The Austin tech startup she helped scale went public. Her equity package made headlines. She was living the life her parents and now Karen had tried to steal from her. Karen started looking desperate. Eating less, maybe, but the fake smile was cracking. At the next public meeting, she tried the tears. "We're all family here. Hurting the community." Natalie leaned into the mic, "Because family doesn't steal your future to fund mediocrity. I learned that the hard way once. I won't learn it twice." The room actually applauded. Game on.
Thank you.
Fall brought the first real cracks in Karen's empire. The lawsuit discovery phase opened, and suddenly every dirty email, every deleted bank transfer, every Derek needs gas money reimbursement was on the table. Natalie's lawyer was a shark in heels. Karen's was some strip mall guy who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Derek got sloppy. For one afternoon trying to guilt trip. Mom's crying every night. Natalie just smiled. Your mom ruined her own family the day she decided rules only applied to people who aren't related to her. She handed him a self-help book, the exact title Grandma had left her brother in the will. Derek stared at it like it was radioactive. The local news picked up the story, embezzling funds to benefit son's failing business. Karen's face on the 6 o'clock news, sweating under studio lights, trying to spin it as community investment, went viral in every suburban mom group chat. Memes exploded. Karen's jowls photoshopped onto every cartoon villain. The dark humor of it all was chef's kiss. Then the twist nobody saw coming except Natalie. During deposition, Karen slipped. Under oath, she admitted the rec center was never going to be built. It was always a cover for bailing out Derek's debts. The judge's face said it all. Impermanent. All fines against Natalie were vacated. HOA was ordered to repay every overcharged resident with interest. Karen tried one last desperate move. She showed up at Natalie's door at dusk, alone, no clipboard, mascara running. Please. House. Derek's in trouble again. We'll pay you back in a month. There's a settlement coming, I swear. $500,000. Sound familiar? Natalie looked her dead in the eyes. You chose him over every rule you made everyone else follow. Live with it, she closed the door. That night, the neighborhood Facebook group lit up with screenshots of Karen's old posts about personal responsibility. The tide had turned. Winter hit Sunnyvale estates like karma in a cold front. The HOA board held an emergency election, the first contested one in 15 years. Karen ran anyway, power suit freshly dry cleaned, but the turnout was record high. Residents who'd been silent for years showed up with printed copies of the lawsuit exhibits. She lost 92% to 8%. The new president was a retired accountant who actually read the bylaws. Karen's house went on the market 2 months later. Derek's truck was repossessed, and the funds clawed back. Public records showed the McAllisters had taken a second mortgage, maxed credit cards, even drained Karen's 401k, trying to keep up appearances while the lawsuit bled them dry. Natalie didn't gloat in public. She just kept expanding her stores, now 6 locations across Texas. The foundation she started in Grandma's name funded full rides for young women whose families had tried the same sacrifice play. Every scholarship recipient got the same note, choose yourself first. The rest follows. One random Thursday, her security app pinged. Derek was trying to jimmy the back gate, high and desperate. Cops came. Hunts. Karen called from an unknown number, begging Natalie to drop charges. He's your neighbor. Natalie hung up and blocked the number. The final nail came when the Texas Attorney General's office opened an investigation into HOA embezzlement statewide, inspired by Natalie's case. Karen was named in the first round of subpoenas. Last anyone saw her, she was loading a U-Haul in the rain, power suit replaced by sweatpants, looking every bit the defeated tyrant she'd always been underneath the bling. Spring came to Sunnyvale Estates smelling like fresh-cut grass and actual justice. The new HOA board repealed the ridiculous rules, lowered dues, and actually built the rec center on budget with licensed contractors. Natalie's rose garden bloomed bigger than ever. Neighbors waved when she walked by. The quiet slice of American dream finally felt like one. She sat on her porch one evening, wine in hand, watching the sunset paint the houses gold. 10 years ago, she was the girl who chose herself over a family that valued mediocrity. Today, she was the woman who chose herself over a neighborhood that tried the same trick. Grandma would have laughed that big, smoky laugh and said, "Told you so, sugar." The last text she ever got from Karen's old number with a single line, "We made a mistake." Natalie didn't reply. Some choices don't get do-overs. And somewhere in a cheaper apartment on the edge of town, Karen and Derek were learning the same lesson her own parents had learned the hard way. When you bet everything on the wrong horse, the house always wins. That's the story, guys. Interest, good and bad. Natalie built an empire from the ashes they tried to bury her in. The rest, they're still paying the price, one cold night at a time. Thanks for listening. Tell me, would you have paid the assessment or fought like Natalie? Hit like if you love justice porn, subscribe for more HOA Karen takedowns, and remember, your future is never up for negotiation. See you in the next one.